Hey, beautiful souls, welcome to my channel. Welcome, welcome, welcome from the bottom of my heart. This is Ashoo Modgil here. I know that those of you who are sailing through and navigating the process of Kundalini awakening, fear factor is a great energy that infiltrates through your system or rises to the surface in your system. So today's video is going to be something around the energy of fear that emerges during your Kundalini awakening process. So stay tuned to this video because I will be talking about how to nurture your Kundalini awakening fear, because we cannot escape fear. But this process is trying to teach you how to manage your fear, how to deal with your fear so that you can move forward in your journey and move forward in the momentum of your process with effectiveness and ease as your process goes by. Because fear is a great barrier. Fear is a greatest of the stuck energies that you are going to encounter in this heroic journey of Kundalini awakening. So let's get started with today's topic of how to nurture fear during Kundalini awakening process. Now, fear is bound to emerge, as we know, because our deconditioning and deconstruction is happening, and the default survival brain is bringing to the surface all those can of worms in the form of our fears and insecurities that were acquired as a part of defensive strategies, or that were acquired as a part of adaptive strategies to survive through any challenge that you must have encountered as a child. Because Kundalini awakening is all about going back and rising above from there, going back to the root of your conditioned self and cleansing the root of your conditioning using the universal tools of universal principles and applying those tools. And from the same root, you are going to sprout a fresh tree of your co-creation, I would say, from that root. So how much you can easily go back into that space and stay in that space and nurture the things that emerge in that space defines the quality of your forward movement, of your Kundalini awakening process. Because the purpose of Kundalini is to cleanse the energy system so that she can flow through you. So, in order for her to flow through you, you need to do some work. And that work is cleansing of all the channels where there are stuck energies. And when we are cleansing those channels, we will figure out that most of the times it is bringing us back to the spaces from our childhood, because our main conditioning is stemming from our childhood belief patterns. So, a lot of times in different phases and cycles of your Kundalini awakening process, you will be brought back into that space where a lot of fear will rise to the surface because your defenses will be falling apart that you learn to use as children. And now, as adults, when those defenses are falling apart, there is no grounding. There is no grounding because those were the only beliefs that you were latching on to ground yourself. And now, when those beliefs are falling apart, your ground is slipping away, and there's a groundlessness, a sense of groundlessness, which is a very scary space to be, the space of groundlessness. So, what we need to do when we are sailing through that uh, structural change or the organization of our beliefs is crumbling. So, how do we reorganize or recreate the belief patterns is the major part of our Kundalini awakening process. So, uh, one way is that understanding that this is bound to happen. So, how we are looking through this process and what kind of filter are we using is very important here at this point of time when the fear is rising to the surface, because it is all about letting go and surrendering of the old and embracing and acceptance of the new. So let go and accept. This is one filter that could help you as a tool to navigate through your process and nurture your process. The tool of letting go and acceptance. Now, I know that letting go may not be easy because our ego is another force that creates obstruction or kind of interference in letting go. So, nurturing your discomfort in this space becomes very important while you are learning to communicate with your ego and renegotiate and negotiate how you would like to give meaning to the different contexts of your daily life. So, nurture, 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 nurture your fears, nurture your discomfort. And one way to nurture is letting go and acceptance, letting go of the old, acceptance of the new. So, when I say letting go of the old and the acceptance of the new, that means how we're learning to tell a story in our minds becomes very important. So you will need a little shift in the language that you use in order to talk to yourself. If you begin to talk from a space of more self compassion while you're sailing through this journey, that is really going to help a lot in making your relationship with this energy better and help you to move forward with better momentum in your process. So, learning to talk with more compassionate vocabulary is really going to help you. Like saying that I understand that I'm going through this difficult process, which has nothing but my best beneath it. So, the purpose of this process is to bring out the best in me. The purpose of this process is to give me optimal health. The purpose of this energy is to bring me into realization of the universal truths. The purpose of this energy is to awaken me to the truth of my bodily intelligence. The purpose of this energy is to deconstruct what was not really the truth, but I was believing it to be true about myself or my life, because this is the most uncomfortable part of the process when your old system is falling apart and there is no grounding beneath it, and a lot of survival brain fear is rising to the surface. So reconstructing the language and the filter that you are using to look at your process is really going to help you. The filter of acceptance, the filter of letting go, and giving a compassionate language to these two filters of letting go of the old and embracing and acceptance of the new is really going to help you a lot in navigating through your Kundalini awakening process and dissolution of the fear that will be emerging during this process. So, there's one thing that you can put into practice on daily basis to strengthen your muscle of acceptance of the Kundalini awakening energy. The second thing that you can do is giving a lot of self-love and self-care. Because right now, the energies that are rising to the surface are all those energies where your inner critic and is very much activated in the background in the form of discomfort, where there's a lot of sense of something is not right with you is happening. There is a lot of sense of shame or sense of mistrust, a sense of self-doubt, a sense of um, embarrassment around showing off your vulnerabilities to others is there. And the purpose of this energy is to bring you above all these negative tendencies and energies, because these are the tendencies and energies of our survival brain. And these tendencies are very much active underneath our adaptive defensive strategies we have been using to get by our day when we are operating from our older realities. So when these older structures are falling apart, so what is lying beneath the adaptive strategies that you acquired as a child to protect yourself from the threat or danger present in the environment? There's a lot of sense of shame, of fear of being caught in your vulnerability. There is a fear of uh, appearing weak to the outer world. There is a fear of sharing what is troubling you and sharing your vulnerability to the outer world. And these are all the authentic parts of being human. But when under our cultural conditioning and influences, we were told not to share them or deal with them in a healthy way. They were layering one after another, piling up in our subconscious and unconscious layers. And now, when this energy gets activated, you are being called to participate in this heroic journey of peeling off these layers and nurturing all these layers with a lot of self-compassion and a lot of self-care. So another thing you can do is create a space of nurturance around all these parts that are trying to emerge in your process. So uh, instead of becoming more panicky or um, losing your ground around these spaces, it's good idea to ground yourself in that space from a space of witness and nurture these parts. So that is really going to help you to add another momentum in moving through your process and move forward in your process, because this energy wants to flow through you. She wants to flow. She wants to dance through your system. But she can't do the dance when she finds the stuck energies of fear, mistrust, distrust. She wants you to go into a state of flow. She wants you to go into a state of intuitive flow. And you cannot access your intuitive flow unless there are layers of fear or there are layers of mistrust. So surrender is the key, acceptance is the key. And going inward and grounding yourself into a space and container of self compassion is the key. And a lot of witnessing of these parts that are trying to come out from the lens of self compassion and nurturance is required during this process of Kundalini awakening. And this is the most effective, easy way to move your process forward, because the purpose of this energy is to bring you into your heart space, and your spirit resides here. But you cannot come into your heart space if we cannot learn to first nurture the parts of us that need our care and compassion so that they could transmute and transform into more loving energies. So I hope that you will start doing this self care and self love core compassionate practices from today onwards so that your process can move forward with a momentum that is manageable and in the right direction. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I will see you in another video. Till then, love to all of you and stay blessed. Bye bye.